and I'm recording. Okay, so let me share the screen and I'll begin the lessons. Okay, in this chapter, we're going to try to understand the behavior of competitive firms. We're going to try to understand what makes a competitive firm unique, how do they maximize profits, when do they close down, and when a company simply say it doesn't make any sense for me to be there. Okay, so you will understand what a competitive firm is in a couple of minutes. Okay, so again, the degree of competition is actually a major determinant of the product, the prices, the quality, and the availability of products. Like I said, there are different environments in which companies operate. Well, let me jump there and then I come back to this. There are actually 4 different types of environments in which companies operate. And the environments in which companies operate are, from one extreme, we have an environment in which company is a monopoly. And a monopoly is a market structure in which only one company dominates the industry. These companies have no competition. You already know that, right? So as a result of this, they just control the supply, and by controlling the supply, they can impact prices. Now, a duopoly is a market structure in which we have 2 companies. That's it, only 2 companies in the industry. Then we have an oligopoly. An oligopoly is few companies. Then we have monopolistic competition, and monopolistic competition is many companies, all of them are small, and all of them offer almost the same, similar product with little differentiation. Okay, the best example of a monopoly would be your local utility companies. The best example of duopoly would be, for example, an airline company, 2 airline companies flying to only one country, and that's it. You have no other choices. For example, to fly from the United States to Argentina, you only have, I think it's United and American Airlines. So then American Airlines and United have a duopoly going flights to Argentina. An oligopoly is few companies. The auto industry, the self-service industry, there are few companies. Monopolistic competition, a lot of them, all of them small, offer a somehow differentiated products. The best examples is restaurants. And then perfect competition is a market structure that is made of many, many sellers. All of them are small. All of them offer the same identical product. The best example of a perfect competition would be farmers. And that's what we're going to try to understand today, how perfect competitive companies determine the output and the price they're going to charge. Okay, so let me return back to the beginning of the chapter, and then we go back into that. Okay, so in this chapter, we're going to try to understand how companies make decisions about how much to produce, and the prices they're going to charge. Right? Now, what is profits? Well, profits is the difference between your revenue and your total cost of production. And profits encourage companies to produce more and probably even to improve the quality of the product, because by doing that, they're probably going to get more customers. So as you can see, then many people say that profits motivate companies to try to take advantage of consumers. But in reality, profits is totally the opposite, because you try to sell an inferior product in order to make higher profits, right? The individuals are going to know that, and individuals are going to buy another product from another supplier. So actually, anything, profits or the motive for profits actually encourage companies to try to sell a better product. Look how simple it is. Let's assume that the 5 of us, have 5 different companies, and we are competing for the market. How can I steal customers from you? Well, the only way I will be able to steal customers from you is if I sell a product at a lower price, or I sell a better product. Now, do I want to steal customers from you just simply because I want to have customers? And the answer is no. If I steal customers from you, it's because I want to increase my profits, right? And the way I can increase my profits is by trying to kill you. And the way I try to kill you is by making you experience losses. And the way I can make you experience losses is if people only buy my product. So if I want people to buy my product, it has to be cheaper and better. Okay, so that's the reality of profits. Now, we already discussed in last chapter that in economics, when we're looking at the cost of production, we not only look at the explicit cost, but we also look at the implicit cost, to look at a whole economic cost. In other words, the total cost that you incur when you engage in an activity. If I open a restaurant and I pay rent and insurance and electricity and all utilities and my employees and all that, all those are payments that I make to other people. Those are part of my cost. Those are explicit costs. But if that business, if that building that is mine, I don't have to pay nothing for it, right? I still have to include that there's actually a cost involved. Because think about this. If the building is mine and I'm using my building, as the year goes by, my building is going to fall apart. So then the building is losing some of its value. So I have to use what is called the depreciation cost, right? Or I can probably think about what will happen if instead of me opening my restaurant or my business, I go ahead and rent this business to someone else, right? So again, in economics, we look at all the costs. We look at the explicit payments made to outsiders and the implicit, the value of a resource that you use for which no payment has to be made. So then the profit is going to be equal to total revenues minus total cost. In economics, this is the way we do it. We have revenues minus explicit cost, and that will give me my accounting profit. And then to my accounting profit, I subtract my implicit cost, and that will give me my economic cost, okay? So it's total revenue minus explicit cost minus implicit cost will give me my economic profit. If I get my total revenue and I only subtract my explicit cost, then that will give me only my accounting profit. Okay. So now what will happen, for example, if my economic profit is 0? And let me explain this way. Again, this will be a little review of the things that we learned yesterday. Okay. Let's say what is this? Here. Let's say that I'm a professional individual and I'm presently earning $200,000. I'm a business consultant. I'm working for a big consulting firm. And then after working for these companies, I realized that, hey, I think I can do this business by myself. People already know me. I'm going to open my own consulting firm. I go to the bank and withdraw the $100,000 that I have, and I use that money to open my business. I buy the machinery, I buy the computer, I buy the desk, whatever the case may be. I open my business, and in the first year, I got, let's say, $500,000 in revenues. So I got $500,000 in revenues. Then I subtract all my expenses of running my business, the secretary that is working for me, and the utility, and the insurance, and the rent, and everything else. And all that is, let's say, $350,000. So this is revenues minus explicit cost will give me my accounting profit. My accounting profit at this point is $150,000. So as you can see, I'm making an accounting profit of $150,000. But if you really think about it, I was better off before I opened my business, because before I was making $200,000 in salary. So then to my accounting profit, I subtract all my explicit costs. The cost of choosing that alternative, and is number one is income forgone. In other words, I lose $200,000 that I'm no longer earning, right? And I also lose the interest that I was getting paid on my savings. So we have interest forgone. And let's say that I was paying 10%, so it's another $10,000 that I'm no longer earning an interest. So as you can see, at this point, my actual economic profit is 150 minus 200 is negative 50, minus negative 10 is negative 60. So my economic profit is actually now negative $60,000, which simply means by being in this business, I'm actually losing $60,000. That's my economic profits. But what will happen if, for example, let's assume that my salary was only 140. So I lose my salary of 140 minus the interest rate that I was earning, and now my economic profit is 0. So if my economic profit is 0, then what I'm doing, I have a normal profit. Normal profit simply means that I'm normal. I'm not better. I'm not worse off than before. So when economic profit is 0, we just simply say that company or that individual is making a normal profit, right? If it's positive, it's an economic profit. If it's negative, it's an economic loss. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So then on this chapter, we're going to try to understand how different companies determine output. We have monopolies, we have oligopolies, we have monopolistic competition, and perfect competition. So today we're going to learn about perfect competition. So let's begin by trying to understand what is unique about perfect competition. What is the things that they are unique about perfect competition, okay? So let's begin. So we already know a normal profit. We discussed this. Okay, perfect competition. A perfect competition is a market in which no buyer or seller has market power. Okay, what is unique about perfect competition? There are many companies, right? The products that they produce is identical. The best example of perfect competition will be farmers, tomato growers, pineapple growers, coffee growers. I mean, you mentioned it, they are identical products. I think about egg producers, right? Egg producers. I mean, eggs are eggs, milk producers. They operate in a perfect competitive environment in which all the products are the same, they're identical. There are very low barriers to entry into this industry, a low barriers to entry. I mean, if I want to become a farmer, I can buy me a couple of cows and boom, I'm in the business of selling milk. I can buy me a couple of chickens and start growing eggs and I just become an egg producer. I can plant some tomato plants and now I'm a tomato grower. So that's what perfect competition is. So then all the producers on perfect competition are small companies. And because they are small, they have no market power. So what you need to understand about perfect competitive companies is that all of them are price takers. And by price takers, it simply means that these companies have no choice, that they have to sell the products that they produce at a price that the market is willing to pay. So then the market determines the price that they're going to sell it. So it goes something like this. So let's assume that this is the number of egg producers in a specific market. So this is the supply and this is the demand for eggs, and the supply and demand for eggs determine the price of eggs. Eggs is going to be, let's say, at 99 cents a dozen. This is a wholesale price, 99 cents a dozen. Now, what do we know about this market, the perfect competition market? Well, there's hundreds of them. There are thousands of them. They're all small, right? They all, that the amount of products they produce is insignificant, to the actual industry. So now you are right here. If you are producing eggs right here, you are just one of many, many, many players. Now, if you don't like the price of 99 cents that the market is paying to you, what options do you have? Will you be willing to, will it be possible for you to increase the price, let's say, to 150? And the answer is no, because why would somebody buy from you at 150 when they can buy as many eggs that they want as 99 cents? Will you lower the price? Why would you lower the price when you are already able to sell all you produce at 99 cents? So then the market determines the price in which you have to sell your product, and you have no control over this. So then perfect competitive companies are always price takers. They are price takers. And by price takers, it means they have to take the price that the market is paying. So then you are in this situation in which you have no choice. If you want to sell your eggs, you have to sell it at 99 cents. So if you sell 1 dozen, my wife came in told me that I'm talking too loud. You know, she's in the office next door. Can you hear me if I lower my voice?
I'm pretty sure they all have their volume turned down.
Do you agree with my wife?
No.
Come here, girl.
Okay, do you have your volume like all the way lowered, like as far as it'll go to hear him?
Am I speaking too loud, guys?
My volume's at about 60%, so I can turn you up.
Okay, so I will try to speak a little bit softer, Jessica.
You act like they're so far away.
Yeah, what happened is that I'm teaching I'm using my normal voice that I use in the classroom. You know, I'm in the front of the classroom and I'm teaching to 60 students. So that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching to 60 students, and I need to learn how to not to be screaming. Yeah. I don't want to hear you either way. My wife said, "You don't hear me." I said, "Yeah, and I don't want to hear you." The thing that she does makes absolutely no sense to me. You have to see her job. Probably one day I'm gonna show you what she's doing. Well, I think let me show you this. This is kind of interesting. Let me see if I can do this. So you can see me.
It's like a remix. You're muted, Dr. Hasso.
You're muted on that screen.
Okay, so as you can see, we are competing for voice. You know, she's also having a Zoom meeting on her company, and here I'm next door screaming.
I'm glad we got that on recording too.
What was that?
I'm glad all of that was recorded too.
Yeah, all of that was recorded too. and we're gonna put that as my lecture. So I don't even know how I want to. I guess I have no choice now. No, I just simply decide not to do it. Okay, this is the fun thing about teaching online. You know. Okay, so we're talking about perfect competitive companies, and perfect competitive companies are very small companies. They all sell the same identical product, and as a result of this, then the companies have no power over the market. They have to sell the product at whatever the market is willing to pay, right? And those are the things that we are trying to understand. So then what happened is this. Okay, so if the market only wants the forces of supply and demand in the market determine that the price is 99 cents, then the specific company has no choice. They have to sell the product at 99 cents. So if they sell 1 unit, they're going to get 99 cents. If they sell 2 units, they're going to get an additional 99 cents. If they sell 3, they're going to get 99 cents. And as you can see, then the selling price becomes the marginal revenue. The additional revenue they're going to get. If they sell 1, they get 99 cents. They sell another one, they get 99 cents. Another one, they get 99 cents. Another one, they get 99 cents. And these companies can sell as much as they can produce because their production in relation to the industry is very small. So then for these companies, the only option they have, the only thing they have to worry about is how much we're going to produce. right? They don't have no control over price. So then the question is, how do perfect competitive companies determine how much they're going to produce? Are they going to produce 100 units or 200 units or 300 units or 400 units? Or, I mean, where are they going to stop? And the rule is very simple. And this is going to be the foundation of what we're going to be learning in the next 3 chapters. The rule for companies is this: you produce as long as the marginal revenue is higher than your marginal cost. In other words, if the additional revenue you're going to receive is higher than the additional cost, then it makes sense for you to do it. But if your marginal revenue is less than your marginal cost, then why do it? Because you're going to be losing money. So then you stop producing where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. That's what is called the profit maximizing or loss minimization point. Look at this. You are the egg producer. You know that you can sell you can sell as many units you want as 99 cents. So think about this. We know the marginal cost is a curve that looks something like this. Remember, marginal cost is an upward sloping curve, and the marginal cost always intersects the average total cost at its lowest point. That's what we learned in the last chapter. So now think about this. Let's look at 200 units of production. Let's say this is in hundreds. At 200 units of production, boom. This is your marginal cost. Your marginal cost is 40 cents. In other words, it costs you 40 cents to make that unit. For how much can you sell that unit? For 99 cents. Will it make sense for you to make that unit? Yes. Right? Because it costs you 40 cents, you can sell it for 99 cents a unit. So you're making 59 cents per unit. Now, how about right here at 300? Well, look at 300. That unit costs you 60 cents to make it. How much are you going to be able to sell it? For 99 cents. So should you do that? Yes. How about right here, 400? And the answer is yes. See, this is in hundreds. And the answer is yes, because at 400, my cost is still less than my marginal revenue. But now look at right here, at 500 units. At 500 units, how much does it cost to make you that unit? The last unit. The last unit costs you 99 cents to make it. For how much can you sell it? For 99 cents. Are you losing any money? No. Are you going to make any money? No. Well, how about if you go higher than that? You go, let's say, to 501. At 501, your additional cost is going to be higher than your additional revenue, so it will be very dumb for you to actually make that unit. So you always produce where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. Okay? So again, the industry determines prices. If the price is $2, you have no choice. You have to sell your product for $2. That's price. This is quantity. So where do you stop producing? Where your price or your marginal revenue is equals to your marginal cost. And let's say you're going to make 100 units. So now you already decide the output. Then the question is this company making money or losing money? And the answer is we do not know, because we don't know where the average total cost of production is. Yeah. Let me get out of my lecture for a second, and then I'll come back to the graph. You remember what we learned yesterday in class? And we said that the average total cost of production looked like a U-curve, right? That when you increase production, for some companies begin to experience economies of scale. I mean, they are able to reduce the cost of production. Then they reach the lowest point, and if you pass this point, you pass this quantity, your cost of production begin to go up. Remember that? We call these economies of scales, constant return to scales, and these economies of scales. So now, the average total cost is simply telling you on the average how much each unit costs you to make it. So for example, let's just make up numbers. Let's say here, at 20 units on the average, it costs you, let's say, $12 to make. In other words, it costs you $12 each unit. On the average, it costs you $12. How about at 22? Well, at 22, and again, I'm just making up numbers. On the average, it costs you $11 to make each unit. Your cost of production went down because you're making more. Let's see, at 23. Well, at 23, on the average, it costs you 10 units to make it, right? How about at 24? Well, at 24, it costs you, let's say, $9 to make it on the average. If you go past 24 to 25, then you begin to see that on the average cost of production goes up. Okay, so we find the output and then we go into the line and we find out on the average how much each unit cost me to make it. So now come back to this. Now let's assume that this is the industry, this is the company, this is your company. You're going to use the profit maximizing strategy where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. You're going to produce right there. You're going to make 100 units. Now, at that point, your average total cost is right there. So then you can see that 100 units on the average, it costs you 180 right here to make each unit. So it's costing you 180 to make it. See, it's costing you 180 to make it. For how much are you selling the units? I'm asking. Remember, the price was determined by the industry, $2. So you're selling the units for $2. So you can sell it for $2. It costs you 180 to make it. So you are making 20 cents per unit. So it's 20 cents times 100. So then all this distance right here is the actual profits this company is making. Okay, so let's go again. Let's be sure you understand the situation, okay? Marginal cost, average total cost, and let's say that the industry right here determined that the prices are, let's say, $15. So you're gonna be able to sell the product for $15. Boom, that's your marginal revenue. Okay, so the rule is you stop producing for marginal cost equals marginal revenue, which will be right here, and you're going to produce, let's say, 100 units. My question is this company making money or losing money?
Wouldn't they be making money?
How do you know that, Shen?
Because the average total cost is below the marginal revenue.
You are
That's the
absolutely
point.
exactly. So you're absolutely right. The company is making money because on the average, let's say this point right here is $14. It costs them $14 to make it, and they can sell it for $15. So the company is making a total revenue of 15 times 100. That will be what, 15,000? No, it's a 1,500. Your total cost is 1,400. So you're making $100 in profits, $1 per unit. So all this distance right here is the actual profits that you're making. Okay, so now on the other hand, let's assume that we have a different situation. Again, this is the average total cost. This is the marginal cost. And now the price is, let's say, $12. This is your marginal revenue. You're going to stop producing right here. That's a rule, 120 units. Are you making money or losing money? You're losing money because at 120 units of production, your average total cost is actually higher than the selling price. So you're losing $1 a unit. Are you following me? Nathaniel, are you following me? I didn't hear you, Nathaniel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, very simple rule. We stop producing where marginal cost equals marginal revenue, and then we determine where's my average total cost is. So now, let me tell you a problem that perfect competitive companies have. Okay, this is the industry. This is supply and demand. Supply and demand, number of buyers, price, quantity, and the price is $18. Okay, so at $18 is what this product is going to be sold. So you are a company, you have no choice. You have to sell your product for $18. So $18 becomes your marginal revenue. Okay, so that is you. So now this is the this is the cost structures that you have. Let me go right here. Okay, So this is your marginal cost. This is your average total cost. Your average total cost. You're going to start producing for marginal cost equals marginal revenue. You're going to produce here, let's say 100 units. And on the average, it costs you $16 to make. So let me ask you a couple of questions. How much is the total profit or losses this company is incurring? Is the company making money or losing money?
If their average total cost is lower than the marginal revenue, they're making a profit at $2 per unit, so $200.
Exactly, sir. The price is equal to the marginal revenue, but at that level of output, the average total cost is $16, which simply means on the average, it costs you $16 to make it. So you're making $2 per unit. Okay, so the company is good. The company is doing good. But what do we know about perfect competitive companies? What do we know about perfect competitive companies? What we know about perfect competitive companies is that it's very easy to come into this industry. Very easy to come into this industry. So then when somebody see that Hustle is making money, selling eggs, somebody say, hey, Hustle is not that smart. I can do it myself. So then in the industry, the supply is going to change. So now there are going to be more producers in the industry, and now we go into a different price. So now the price is now $17. So now you have no choice. You have to sell your product for $17. So now it's $17 is the price you have to sell it. The rules say you stop producing for marginal cost equals marginal revenue, and it's going to be right here, right? So now you're going to produce only 90 units.
Does profit generally decline when there are more sellers in the market?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir, because we have more sellers in the market and everybody has to lower the price to be competitive. So then what happened to this company now? Is the company making money or losing money? Based on this graph that you see right here, is this company making money or losing money?
Still looks like you would be making money, right?
Yeah, still making money.
Yeah, they're still making money because $17 is still higher than the average total cost of what? Of 16.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as long as profits are there, profits always act like a beacon. New players are going to come into the industry. So more supply will come, and now the price becomes $16. Boom. Right? So then now you have no choice. You have to sell your price for $16. So now the question is this company making money or losing money? How much does it cost them to make it? It costs them $16 to make it. How much they are selling this? For $16. So are they making money? Are they making any profits? How much profit are they making? A zero profit. What do we call that? A normal profit in economics. So then perfect competitive companies on the long run, they always make a zero economic profit, or it simply means that they only make a normal profit. So if the company is only making a normal profit, then the company, there's no incentive for anybody else to come into the industry. So then perfect competitive companies can make profits only on the short run. See, perfect competitive companies can only make profits on the short run. Because once they start making profits, profits acts like a beacon and new players will come into the industry. So then perfect competitive companies in the long run, they only break even. Okay, or they make a normal profit. So now, let me see if you're following me. This is my average total cost. On the average, how much does it cost me? This is my average variable cost, which means that on the average, this is how much I'm spending in variable cost, right? And this is my marginal cost. Marginal cost always intersects the average total cost at its lowest point. Now look at this. If I can sell my product for $20, this becomes my marginal revenue. According to the rule, I'm supposed to produce for marginal cost equals marginal revenue, which be right there, 20 units. Well, let's say 200 units. At 200 units, am I making money or losing money? By looking at this graph, making money or losing money? Remember, I don't have no...
Losing money because your total costs are higher.
Exactly, sir. I have no control over the price, so I'm losing money because the average total cost is $22. On the average, it costs me $22 to make each unit. I can only sell it for 20, so I'm losing $2 per unit. How much am I losing? Well, at that level of production, I'm losing $400. But now look at my average variable cost. This is my average variable cost. Let's say it's $18. So on the average, I'm paying $18 in variable cost. Let's say this is salaries. For each unit that I'm making, it costs me $18 to make it in labor, and $22 is the total cost. So that means that I'm paying $4 in fixed cost on the average. Remember, because the average total cost equals to your total cost divided by your what? By your quantity, right? So at this point, the company is losing money. But look, at a price of $20, they are making enough that they're actually paying all the labor costs. They're making enough to pay all the workers. In addition to that, we know that the distance between these two lines right here, is the average fixed cost. So then the company is not only covering all the variable costs, but they're also covering part of the fixed cost. So then a company like this will stay in business only for the short run. You're losing money, but it will be okay for you to stay in business because the price is high enough that it's paying all your labor costs and part of your fixed costs. Right? Let's say it's covering all your employees and part of your rent. You're still losing money. Right? But if you close it down, then you're going to have to pay for all your fixed costs, so your losses will be greater. So now, why will a company stay in business like that on the short run? What do you think they're hoping is going to happen?
Maybe they're hoping for demand to rise and the consumers be willing to pay a higher price.
Exactly, sir. They're hoping that either the demand will rise in the market or all the sellers go out of business before they do. And if all the sellers go out of business before they do, the supply decrease. Remember right here, they are right here. Let's say they are now at 20. This is supply and demand. This is price of 20. And that's why you're selling at 20. Now, you are losing money. But what you hope is that something else is going to happen and other companies go out of business before you do, supply decreases, boom, and now prices go up. So now the price is now 22. So then at 22, then your story changes because now you can change your product for $22. So now at a price of 22, is this company making money or losing money? Now you can sell it for 22 because other ones went out of business. So the company...
They're at normal profit.
Exactly, Michael. The company is making now a normal profit. Now let's assume that other companies continue to go out of business. Boom. And now the price is 23. So now you're happy because you'll be able to increase the price to 23. So now at 23, this becomes your new marginal revenue. And now you're going to increase your production to right here, let's say to 250. because that's the rule. You stop producing for marginal cost equals marginal revenue, which is right here. So now at the price of 23, is the company making money or losing money?
They would be making money.
They are making money because at the price of 23, the average total cost is right here. It's actually now only 22. So they are making $1 per unit. For how long will this company be able to make profits? And what did I tell you? Perfect competitive companies can only make profits on the short run. They can only make profits on the short run, right? Because once somebody sees that there's money in that industry, people are going to be attracted, and then other sellers are going to appear in the industry, right? Supply will begin to increase, and then prices begin to decrease. Okay. Questions? Questions or comments? Okay, so that's perfect competitive companies. So let's go ahead and review now the PowerPoints, and let's see what we are missing. So what do we know about perfect competitive companies? Okay, let me go right here. Okay. Uniqueness of perfect competition. Many companies, right? They all produce the same identical product. There's no barriers to entry. No company has market power. So as a result of this, all these companies become price takers. The amount of output that the company produces is very insignificant in relation to the market. In other words, the market is not going to be affected if you go out of business, because you're very small. So then the supply and demand in the market determines the price. And then you have no choice. You have to sell that product at that price that the industry or the market established by the forces of supply and demand, right? So the company is a price taker. That's the only thing you can do. If you raise the price, nobody's going to buy it. It makes no sense for you to lower the price, because why lower the price when you can still sell them at that price, right? So then for you, there's no pricing decisions. You don't get together with your marketing managers and say, okay, what will be the best price to charge? So then the only decision for perfect competitive companies is how much we're going to produce. And the problem is that you don't even have to worry about the quality of your product, because the product is identical to all the other producers. So then the only decision left is production decisions, right? And how do you do it? Well, you stop producing where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. Let me go right here. Okay. The company will stop producing for marginal cost equals marginal revenue. In this case, this is the selling price, $13. That's my marginal cost, I'll produce 4 units, right? That's all. So because if the price is higher than the marginal cost, then I make more. Look at 2 units of output. At 2 units of output, my marginal cost is about $6.50, but I can sell it for 13. So yeah, I'll make that unit. How about 3 units? Yeah, I'll make 3 units because 3 units cost me about $9 to make it, and I can sell it for 13. How about 3.5? Yes. How about 4? Yes. How about 5? Well, at 5, the cost of production is actually higher than the selling price. So no, you will not make that unit. So then the profit maximizing rule is this. You stop producing where price, which is marginal revenue, equals to marginal cost. Okay, let's take a 10-minute break, guys. And we'll be right back. Okay, so it's 2:35. Let's be here about, let's be here 10 till 3. I have, 2:38, 10 till 3, okay?